Speaker has no close. This has been one of the greatest secrets of the last 60 years of the professional speaking business, and now it's being revealed in an unprecedented way because of the shutdowns and because of coronavirus and all the things that are going on right now. And what I mean by this is most speakers don't have that much to say. Now, this is anyone in the business for a long time knows this, that most speakers have one speech. They're basically 40 minutes, and that's the content that they really have. I mean, these are nice people. I've known these people for a long time. They're nice people. They're good people. They're very good speakers. And they're what the industry calls slot fillers. We need someone to speak from 10 to 10:45 at the National Convention for Campbell Soup or XYZ, and we need and you want to talk about motivation, you want to jump up and down, you want to tell people think big and they'll be big and eat less, exercise more, and any of these basic platitudes, and they fill those slots, and people say, well, there's a professional speaker. Well, that's true, a professional slot filler. Okay, fast forward. This has been going on for 60 years, by the way. Now, fast forward 2020, there are no live meetings. Speakers are scrambling to take their content online. Here's the problem. They don't have any. They've got a speech. They got a book this thick. That's basically their speech regurgitated. Now, if you think I'm exaggerating, I will tell you this is the majority of this industry. I've been in this industry 23 years full time. I've been in the top 1% of income earners almost the entire time. And this is the reality. Now, it's not all speakers. Now, some speakers are really content speakers. They've got a lot of information. Here's my point of telling you this. In this reboot, and it is a complete reboot of the entire speaking industry, most speakers are not going to make it because they don't really have anything to say. They're just kind of jump up and down, motivation, walk on coals, whatever their strategy is. Again, nice people. I know almost all the ones at the top personally, and I've worked with most of them, and they're great people. But bottom line is the bottom line, that when everything shuts down and information becomes the key thing, they don't really have it. So why am I telling you this? Well, for one, because you'll never hear it probably anywhere else because it's been a dirty little secret of the industry for many years. And and this is why you don't see speakers typically on television or radio and print, because they've only got a 40-minute speech in a book this thick to sell, which typically doesn't sell many copies. Now, there are speakers with real content, with real processes. Luckily, back when I started in 1997, Larry Wilson said, Steve, which Larry Wilson is probably the greatest content speaker in the history of the industry. He's sold more to corporations than anyone else in history, in the billions of dollars. Wilson Learning is still one of the largest training companies in the world, and Larry's been gone now for about 7 years. He was my mentor for 15 years and one of my best friends. And Larry taught me, he said, Steve, you got to build a business, a speaking business. You have to write book after book. You have to write articles. You have to talk to the press. You need to get deep. You need to go in and do serious work with corporations if you want to be really in this business at the highest level. So for 20 years, we did turnarounds at major companies, multi-billion-dollar companies, and that's how we did well. We wrote books. I've written 11 books, and I'm not the only person that's done this, and that's not my point of saying this, but there's a percentage of people that have the content, that have processes, that have unique points of view, that have really dug into this business in a major way, and most of the people have not. But when times were very good in this business, they could get away with writing a tiny book and a 40-minute speech and kind of be superstars. Well, those days are gone. It's over. It's never coming. In my opinion, it will never come back. This will never be the same after this whole corona shutdown, because this is not ending anytime soon. These people that think this is coming back in 3 or 4 months are deluding themselves. This is going to go on for years. And if you don't have content, and if you're not a serious thought leader, you can forget this business. But that being said, if you are a serious thought leader and you build content, you build uniqueness in your solutions, you build your media presence, you write books, you write articles, you write op-eds, you are a real player in this game, as Larry Wilson taught me to do, you can have a career that is, kind of a dream career, bottom line. And that's what I recommend that you do. And I've been recommending this for years to people, but it was always easier for people to have a 40-minute speech, and that's their depth of their content is a 40-minute speech. And it's the majority of the keynote industry, make no mistake. And that's why so many of these people, I'm getting calls every day from people, they're trying to bring their content online, except they don't really have any content. It's the speaker with no clothes, like the emperor with no clothes. They look like they had all these answers, but they really don't, because they've never really dug in like Larry Wilson taught me and other people to do to create solutions to real problems, to individuals, to companies, not jump up and down, rub each other's shoulders, dance to music and all that nonsense. That doesn't change anything. It feels good, and it makes naive people think that they're making changes in their life. But it doesn't change anything. Psychology and change is a very, very complex process that requires quite a bit more than dancing up and down in a hall with 10,000 people in it. That's just candy. You're eating candy thinking it's nutrition, and it's not. So here's what I'm doing to mitigate this and to give you the chance, if you believe in what I'm saying, time will prove it out anyway with this shutdown, because the only people that are working now are the people with real solutions. The people with fluff are gone. They're getting killed. There's no meetings. They can't jump up and down for 40 minutes anymore because no one can have them in a hall. And this is going to go on for a couple of years, so they're not going to survive most likely. But this is the good thing about this. If you really want a serious career, you're willing to really craft and hone a writing and speaking career, I'm putting together a program called the Author Speaker Academy. And I'm going to show you not only how to build speeches that sell tens of millions of dollars, which I've done, and books that sell, I've sold 1.5 million books in my career. Other people have sold more, but it's still in the top 1% of speakers worldwide in the history of the industry. This is what I've done because this is what I was taught to do by mentors like Larry Wilson and others. And I'm going to put together an entire coaching program at a very, very reasonable price in the next couple of months called Author Speaker Academy. And I want you to consider joining it if you really want to work at this. This is not going to be some flash in the pan, jump up and down nonsense. I don't do that. And that's why I've been able to sustain for this long, including through coronavirus, because if you have substance, the media, the press wants to talk to you. I probably do 10 to 15 interviews with the mass media. I've done ABC, NBC, and CBS this week, and it's only Wednesday. And so, and the reason is because of the depth of the work. And this is not rocket science, and I am not a rocket scientist. You can do this, but there's a methodology to doing it, and it's a lot more than jumping up and down on a stage, believe me, because those people are done. They're basically gone. There'll be a few left when the corona thing ends, and that's about it, because the rest of them are gonna be broke. They can't sustain it. They have no content. They have no depth. If you've got depth, you have a place in this business forever, because you're seen as a thought leader by companies, by individuals, by the mass media. Not talking about social media and Facebook. I'm talking about CBS, NBC, Fox, CNBC, et cetera, et cetera. That's where you want to be. That's where credibility lies in this business. But you have to be credible to get there, because this is not posting on Twitter or Instagram or some nonsense like that. This is something they have to pick you up because they see you as a serious player. I'm going to teach this in this academy because I've done my time traveling all over the world, giving speeches. I've had a great time, but I don't want to do that anymore. And so I'm going to spend the rest of my career teaching people how to build a substantial career as a thought leader to help companies, to help individuals, and to stand out as a thought leader with solutions on multiple topics based on your expertise and your experience. It's a very, very methodical process that anyone can do that takes it seriously. But if all you want to do is get standing ovations and jump up and down, this business is over. It's done. It's going to come back as a skeleton of itself after Corona is done. But if you're a thought leader and you've got serious content, we're staying busier than we've ever been. And there's not that many people out there at the seven-figure level that are doing this, but there are some, and they're very, very good, but they're in the minority. And some of them you might know, and some of them you might not know. But I'm going to be launching this. I'll have more information as we go, but I'd like to hear your comments on this and what you think about this whole concept. Because if you've been around this business at all, you know I'm right. It's a secret to only people outside of the industry. Once you get into the industry, you realize what it is and what it is not. The bottom line, you guys, is the people that are going to thrive in the writing and the speaking business in the future are going to thrive bigger than they ever have before, because the rest of the industry has been exposed as having really very few answers and just a bunch of hype and jump up and down and hype, and that type of thing. And they're making claims and, saying you can think your way into success and you can think your way rich and all these kinds of nonsense things. This is going to turn very serious very quickly with this change. And for you, it could be the greatest thing that ever happened. For my career, it'll be the greatest thing. It's already one of the best things that's ever happened in my career, because we're still busy, because we're solving problems. We're not jumping up and down, railing people, getting people to dance in the streets and rub each other's shoulders. That doesn't do anything. And when things get tough, people look for solutions. They don't look for fluff and candy. They look for substance and meat. And that's what this is really all about. Great thing is you can build a career out this and almost no one knows how to do it. It's very rare. The only reason I can tell you I know how to do it is because Larry Wilson, again, probably the greatest purveyor of content and change in corporations, taught me how. He was my mentor for 15 years. He was one of my best friends for 15 years. We traveled all over the world together. And so I was lucky enough to have that. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't have a clue how to do this. There's something to it. Not rocket science, but there's a methodology to it. And if you do it, you can have a career that lasts until you drop dead, until you're 100 years old and you just drop on stage or writing your books or an op-ed or talking to CNN or wherever. But you can have an incredible career. So I want to share this with you and kind of tee this up, and because it's very exciting, and I'm gonna dedicate the rest of my life to teaching people that really want to do this at the highest level. I have no interest in teaching people how to get audiences to jump up and down and buy a bunch of crap they don't need and yell and scream and do all that stuff. That is not my plight. If that's what you want to do, this is not for you. I want to train serious people to do serious work to solve serious problems in society and in corporations. Believe me, the need is there. They need you. They need more than one voice, out there with different ideas, and I can show you how to craft the ideas to make it work. So I want to let you know about that. It'll be coming in the next couple of months. And with that, stay safe, stay strong, and I'll see you soon.